Atleti want a second Englishman. Lazio are after a Chelsea midfielder. Rabiot is doing Rabiot things. Project Restart may have hit a wall, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Foley, you are the Onefootballers, and this is the Daily News. First off, and apparently not satisfied with one Englishman in Kieran Trippier, Atletico Madrid are interested in Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Now, this is supposedly in a swap deal for Thomas Partey going to Liverpool. It's fair to say this is coming a little bit more from Atletico Madrid than it is from Liverpool, although there's no way that the Reds would turn out someone like Thomas Partey. The whole reason I think behind this is because they don't really want to lose Partey to such little money. Apparently this deal will be a straight swap, but if the Ghanaian midfielder were to move to Arsenal, like it's been linked in the last few weeks, they'd probably get about 45 million for him. That doesn't really do the midfielder justice, and it's because of the market which could be so deeply affected from the current financial troubles. So what they're going to do instead of getting 45 million, which are then going to struggle to find a replacement, they might as well get a better player instead. And who knows, Oxlade-Chamberlain, when he comes in, it could be even better, and then they could sell him for more, or they've just got a good replacement in the first place. They're kind of killing two birds with one stone. They're making Partey happy by letting him leave and go to the Premier League, and they're bringing in a replacement in one swoop. Of course, whether or not Jurgen Klopp actually wants Alexander Oxlade-Chamberlain to leave, that's a different situation altogether. I don't think he's a starting 11 player. I think he's good when he comes in. He can certainly fill in the odd game and really provide a good spark. I'm not so sure if Liverpool fans, you were to name me your best 11 when everyone in the squad is fit, Oxlade-Chamberlain makes the cut. But what he does bring is an incredible amount of versatility, and we've seen it over the years that he's played in so many different positions. He really helps the squad overall. With the likes of Adam Lallana leaving, James Milner getting into his mid-30s, it probably makes sense to keep the Ox around for a few more years. But talking of midfielders who could be on the move, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek is apparently going to be swooped away from Chelsea and heading to Lazio. Now, unconfirmed reports are saying that around £17.5 million will do the trick. I'm not so sure Chelsea are going to accept that. They don't really need the money, and they're going to sell one of their brightest prospects in midfield for just £17.5 million. With all of his injuries, especially over the last couple of years, it's like they haven't really given him a good chance to prosper. But despite the fact he's never been a regular starter at Chelsea, he's been in and out of form, he's still in and around the England squad on occasion. It just shows you the kind of quality he has, and that the coaches and everyone behind the scenes know that Ruben Loftus-Cheek can produce. The reason, though, that Lazio will be interested in him is because he's a very similar player to Milinkovic-Savic, who this weekend was yet again linked with another move away from the club. Now, at the end of last week, the president of Lazio said that he wouldn't be moving for anything less than 80 million euros. So if they sell him for 80 million, bring in Ruben Loftus-Cheek for around 20 million euros, they've got 60 million euros profit and a pretty good player to boot. That sounds like sensational business, but I can see the Serbian midfielder leaving before Ruben Loftus-Cheek does. Spurs were the latest team to be linked with him at the weekend, but it's highly unlikely they're going to be the ones to shell out an enormous amount of money for the midfielder. The likes of Manchester United or Barcelona is a little bit more likely. Anyway, the midfielder is a big powerhouse of a central midfielder. Box to box, gets up and down, can pass, can really find a key pass, can also find the back of the net, and that pretty much describes Ruben Loftus-Cheek, just an English version. I see quite a lot of similarities in their gameplay, and I think he'd be a great fit. I'm just not sure whether Chelsea would let him go so easily. It depends on not whether they bring in Declan Rice or N'Golo Kante leaves or anything of the sort in their central midfield area. But next up, and Adrien Rabiot, who's back to doing Rabiot things. Now, this is a rather interesting situation. So apparently, whilst Juventus are getting prepared to return to team training, they've heard nothing from their French midfielder, and apparently he's still at home in France and hasn't told the club when he plans to return. This could be seen as a way of him forcing through another transfer yet again. We saw this last season. He did the same at PSG when he really wanted to leave. He got sent to the under-23s, never played for the first team again, and eventually, at the end of his contract, moved to Juve on a free. I don't blame them for doing it. It was a free transfer. Yes, they pay him a big wage, but it was a free transfer for a decent midfielder, right? So it wasn't going to cost them too much, but surely they saw the poor attitude. They saw what was coming. If he's planning to do that to his former club, surely Juve were like, you know what, he may end up doing that to us in the future, but heck, we'll take the risk. Whereas 1 year later and the exact same thing has happened. Seems like professionalism and Adrien Rabiot don't exactly go hand in hand. Anyway, if he was to move, Juve would get a transfer fee for him. So technically they're making a good bit of money on him, so fair enough. But when it comes to his ridiculous wage, there's only one league in the world with enough clubs to pay stupid wages. That is the Premier League. Maybe China as well. One league in Europe, definitely it'll be the Premier League. There have been reports linking him with like every top club. I can't see him leaving. It's getting to the point where you could see him develop a kind of bad reputation, similar to the one that follows Mario Balotelli around, where he's got brilliant talent, but you just cannot deal with all the baggage that comes with it. That's not something you really want over your head when you're supposed to be carving out a pretty good career. So next up, and to Project Restart. This is what the Premier League is calling their attempts to bring football back to the UK. Of course, things aren't going so well so far. In the latest speech given by Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he said that, well, sport is allowed to return, but sport that you're playing yourselves. He spoke nothing about professional sport, and if the lockdown continues, how on earth are they going to bring so many players to bring professional sport, especially when the news has come out that more players have got coronavirus. Brighton over the weekend said that a third unnamed player has currently got the virus, although there have been a few whispers that maybe this isn't entirely true. Brighton are one of the clubs, along with Watford and Aston Villa, who reportedly aren't interested in playing the rest of the games at neutral venues. This is because they're really, obviously, quite worried about the true possibility of being relegated. Now, this isn't to say it's some sort of massive conspiracy. I'm just saying what a few whispers were on the internet. Personally, I don't believe that is true, and I don't think they'd mock the public safety with such reports. But apparently it is true that they really are against neutral venues, and we spoke about this a lot last week and how it is actually a massive factor, especially when Brighton have so many of the top teams to play at home. Obviously, there's no way they can wait it out. I can't see a situation in which we just wait until fans are allowed back in the stadium and we complete the 2019-2020 season. That is going to take forever. But it seems like every few days, the start of the season is pushed further back. Apparently, clubs are meeting today to find out what the players think about returning to the pitch and their safety and how much it's going to cost and all that kind of stuff. But there is no deal yet on whether or not they will be restarting the season in June, specifically June the 12th. Anyway, as for the rest of Europe, well, the Bundesliga and the second Bundesliga are set to return this weekend, but Dinamo Dresden have got 5 players who have tested positive, so their whole squad's been put on 2-week quarantine, and, well, they're not going to be able to fulfill their first fixture this weekend. In Spain as well, there have been a few more cases as they look to ramp up preparations as they plan to return around June 20th. So last but not least, a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news, where Dayot Upamecano's agent has said that his client is a big transfer, and big transfers won't be happening this summer, meaning the defender will probably be staying at Leipzig. Elsewhere, in Williams' contract talks with Chelsea are completely and utterly dead, meaning that he could be moving to Arsenal or Tottenham in the summer on a free. Odion Ighalo's team, Shanghai Shenhua, have said that the striker will be available for around $20 million this summer. And lastly but not least, UEFA have said that the claim that from Lyon president that the second leg of their round of 16 tie between Lyon and Juventus set for the 7th of August is absolute nonsense. The president last week did claim that, well, it's going to be behind closed doors, but they still will get to play the second leg in Turin. After all, they are leading 1-0 at the moment. So there you have it. That's all from me for today's daily news. But you guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you make of the plan to restart and all of the transfer rumours? Whilst you're at it, you can smash the like button. Let me know your thoughts and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on Onefootball. But until next time, I will see you guys later.